So here we are live, ready, rip roaring, ready to go into our noontime movement snack. If you're here on catch up or you're a late replayer, then it's great to have you. Even though you're not here on the live, you're still with us. We're still team movement snacking literally all over the world. So it's great to have you. Keep in touch if you like. We've got a big community here on Make Movement Your Mission, and chatter away on the messaging. But also, if you are doing a catch up here on Facebook, then please feel free to drop us a message, ask us any questions, of course, and let us get to know you a bit more. If you're here on YouTube, it's great to have you. I'm glad you found us. And we'll keep posting up our movement snacks week after week, as we've been doing for the last year and a half pretty much. Right, our lives are coming in now. Davina's in, Christine Perry's in, Sandra's in, George in, Carolyn in. What a healthy looking register already. You lovely people, it's great to be back. I've got a super busy week this week. So yesterday I was down in Northampton doing day one of a course. I'll be going back to do day 2 tomorrow. Then Thursday, Friday, I'll be doing days 1 and days 2 back to back up in Kirkby again. And I will be doing the movement snacks from those locations. Everyone will break for a quick early lunch so that I can get on at literally 5 to 12. You know we'll be here no matter what, no matter rain or shine. And if it's raining, hopefully we put a little bit of shine into your day. Right, let's see who's popped up a message. Nice save, Kelsey, thank you. I saw save a couple of times there and I thought, what does that mean? But the pennies dropped. It was on my welcome message, wasn't it? We had a bit of a penalty shootout yesterday with Willow's team. And mums had to go in goal and take 5 penalties against with their daughter shooting at them, and then vice versa. I feel I've lost a little bit of power in my kicking leg though, because that's my dodgy knee side. I'll have to work that up. I have to get my own back on this one. And Willow, normally if you were behind a ball that Willow's booted, you'd be off into space with it. She's got such a rocketing boot on that end of her long leg of hers. Right, let's see. Morning, Kels. Nice to have you back. Thank you, George. Great to be back as always. Margaret Hamilton's in saying, hello, me and lunchtime snackers. Rainy morning in Chesterfield. Thanks, Margaret. Good save. Thank you, Sandra. Last week, I think Willow took a penalty at one of her mates and she ended up down the hospital afterwards because she'd sprained her wrist. She wasn't quite sure of it. So, you know, I think I got away with it nicely with no injuries as such. Just safe hands over here, Ken. Safe hands. You're in safe hands, believe me. Right, it's 12 noon. Last couple of hellos then. Christine Rowland down in Penzance. Been stretching a lot, but you need this movement snack. Okay, coming right up. Gillian with a G. Wendy Granger's in. Rosemary Keeley, good afternoon to you. Odile, you're the last one I've got time for. Right, I've got time for you all though. All right, Red Rita, hello. Christine Lewis, hello. Right, we've got to do this. Stop distracting me. 3, 2, 1, good afternoon and welcome. It is Tuesday the 6th of July 2021 and you're with me, Kelsey Leverton from Later Life Training for our noontime midday movement snack for all you midday movers. We always start with a little bit of circulation boosting, but just before that, we got our little bit of health and safety check that we do, haven't we? Good supportive shoes, stable, firm chair to sit in if you are in-seated throughout, or if you're going to be using both standing and seated options. Also in standing, you'll need some external support. And for one of the options, you might need a bit of a wall or something firm to lean your bottom against, if you choose that option, of course. Let us start with a bit of focus on our posture. So feet hip distance apart, so we've got that alignment through our legs, and we're trying to share the weight evenly. Standing tall through our trunk, through our neck, right through the top to the bottom of our spine, lengthening. And if you're ready, just bring in some foot pedals there. Just this low level leg march to get us stuck into this 2 to 3 minutes of circulation boosting. If you're in seated and you've not begun already, lift up tall, activate switching on posture, hip walk forwards if that makes you feel a little bit more comfortable towards the front of the chair. Feet under knees or ankles under knees. And then here we've got some foot pedals as well. Now in seated and standing, there is some holding on that you can do if you need it. So side of the chair or arms of the chair, or your external support in standing. Leg marches, let's go. A steady rhythmical pace here, trying to lift the knees to about the same level and height from right side to left side. So we've got a balance of activity from one side to the other. If you'd like to bring an arm swing in, then bend at the elbow and use the elbow to drive backwards with a fluid, comfortable swing through the shoulder, and change sides. Now, some of you might be marching with both arms on the go already, and that's fine. We normally just break it down, have it in its broken down format before building it up. But if you know what you're doing here in the circulation booster, then do what you feel comfy with. In standing, you just need to feel that you've got your balance here if you've let go of your support. Opposite arm to leg, a fluid, rhythmical, not too intense type movement pace or speed. We want to feel our heart rate lift and notice our breathing change a little bit, but not to a point where it feels like you're huffing and puffing. All right, start to steady that down then. Bring it to a stop. And just take a few deeper breaths, really filling your lungs full of oxygen, and then letting it all go. Right, we're ready for our first movement today. Now, we've got a standing version and a seated version of a move that we've used before called the Flamingo Swing. So let me just sweep the comments to the side because I can see a bit better then. Okay, so ideally you'll need to have your support to the side of you. And if you're in a space where you've got support available on both sides, that might be better for your balance overall. Just going to get this out of the way a little bit. Come in a bit of a side view. That should do us. So standing up tall, you might want to start with your toes back and then lift through the leg. And you're going to brush the floor. So scrape your foot through the floor and lift the knee to the front. Scrape the foot past the floor and lift your heel to the back. So here your knees pointing down towards the floor. No higher than hip height. And the top half stays upright and still as we just move around this hip. Now the standing leg will feel like it's doing quite a bit of work. So maybe do 2, 3 or 4, have a rest and maybe set yourself up and have another few goes on that side before changing legs, turning around to do the other side perhaps. Here in seated, we can do a similar motion. So sitting up tall, start with the foot tucked back. You've got the heel raised there and you're brushing through and lifting the knee. Quick pause here and then down to the floor and scrape it back. So lift, down, foot flat and tuck it back under. So we've got a bit of movement through the hip here. We've got a bit of movement through the knee, the ankles, feet and the toe bones. Now, as you do this knee lift, try not to let that tip you back or sink you down. Still keep working with all these top half of your posture to maintain your upright and strong seated or standing position. Now, if you are in standing and you've been holding on throughout, if you feel rock steady with that, then I'm going to invite you just to take a bit of a lighter fingertip touch rather than a whole hand hold, if that makes sense. And this should, as we go through, challenge your balance a little bit more so. So the underneath knee, your standing leg knee, is strong but slightly bent, not locked out and rigid. If we've got some looseness in the joints, I should be holding on to the other side, hang on. If we've got some looseness in the joints, then our balance, when we feel the twists, the tweaks and the adjustments through the ankles, we adjust better through the leg and the hip as well, if we're not locked out and rigid. Few more. Maybe 3, 4, 5 on each side. Change sides, have a go again. And in seated, if you have changed legs. So we've got kind of a lift, a place down, and then a tuck back with that foot. Control that lowering bit down so we hear it touch the floor, but it doesn't flap down onto the floor. All right, take a pause there. Maybe a little bit of work in the hips there and quite a lot through the posture, especially in seated. Okay, so we've got, we're going to do the chest movement next. So we've got 3 options for a press. The wall press, which we've done a few times over before. If the wall is difficult for you to get that position of the wrists through, then you may prefer holding onto the countertop of the worktop. It could be the top of the radiator. Or I've got the shelf here. So hands shoulder width apart. Walking the feet back a little bit so your arms are straight, but you can feel a bit of load there already. Press the shoulder blades down, and then you've got a press and a push. So the body moves as one unit there. Strong through the centre, and we can do a few wall presses for chest, backs of the arms. If you've not got a wall there, but you've got a handy band, then this handy band can be positioned right round the back of your chair, or even round the back of you, with an all the way position seated back in the chair. Thumbs at the top, my band's not going to ping, and I can press and release. So this is just a seated version of the kind of movement that was shown in standing there. Now, some of you might not have a back band, some of you might not feel comfortable or confident in standing, but some of you might have a tea towel or a little cloth bag I've got here. Goodness knows where my Make Movement Your Mission t-shirt is, or tea towel. So what we can do in seated is take a grasp of your fixing arm, and we're going to work the working arm. So you might want to have your knuckles on the top and your grip, an overhand grip there, and then fix a hand at the hips. Just a little bit of diagonal there through your body. Press forwards and release. Press forwards and release. So I'm going to around that midway mark, that centre point, chest level, press and release. And that builds up some work within the chest area, front of the shoulder too, and the back of the arm. Feel free to have a go at any of those options or do a little bit of each option. So fixer arm, overhand grip, draw the elbow back, your tea towel or whatever you've got is in a diagonal position across your body, and we're pushing forwards with the knuckles. I like this one. This is a good one. Building some warmth through your muscles. Carry on doing a few more of whatever you've chosen. You're going to feel some build-up of that muscular tension, that effort that's working through your muscles, and a few muscles are in play here. Chest, front of shoulders, back of arm, postural muscles to fix everything into place and to keep the centre of your body strong in seated or standing. And also this movement, this push-in type movement, if you think about anything in the day that you need to push, it might be a wheelie bin, it might be a hoover, it might be a mower when you hoover the lawn. It could be a heavy door that you're pushing open, moving a piece of furniture around or anything like that, requiring chest, pushing up from bed or lying down positions as well. Or even if you are on the floor or in the bath, holding your position in hands and knees on all fours. There, loads of benefit there. Have a rest if you haven't done already. We don't need this anymore, so you can toss that to the side. Right, we'll start with the seated option here actually. So, front third of the chair, and those of you who normally do stuff in standing, feel free to come and have a bit of a turn in seated. So let's just turn around a little bit here. Okay, so here we're going to have the top half as upright and as strong as we can throughout. First of all, you can start with just a little bit of a trunk twist and reaching opposite hand to knee. So this is a across the body reaching action. Come back to the centre. Now, if the pace I'm moving at is a little bit too quick for you, then slow it down and just hold a pause in the centre. Sometimes when we're moving, twisting from side to side, this can challenge our balance, and it can also make us feel a little bit dizzy and lightheaded on occasions. So that's your first option. The second option is picking up one leg, tucking the heel into the centre and touching with the opposite hand, and then come back. So sit tall, pause, think about that opposite arm to leg, opposite arm to ankle, foot. You've got to turn out of the knee and the hip, and hopefully not too much changing through the top half of your posture. Have a go at a few of those. Be right back with you in a minute. In standing. Now, doing the freestanding version with this is great, but your balance does need to feel secure. So we can lift the knee, go knee to hand or hand to knee. You could have a pause in between just to organise your feet and regain your balance. You could progress that on like we've done in seated to turning out the knee. And there's a small lean forwards there. There's a small twist of the trunk, but coming up to an open, active standing posture afterwards. Now, here's where we could take up a leaning spot against the wall or something firm. Feet closer together, and you can go to the ankle. This just supports your balance a little bit more. Or you can go to the knee, of course, with a little bit of a twist, a little adjustment of the feet perhaps in between. If you've got something on either side of you, this is a little bit wide for me now, so let's just bring it back. You've got option to go from handheld support and move from opposite arm to leg or opposite ankle we're touching with. So add in a little bit of a trunk movement if you can. So this combination of movements, good for balance, mobility, some reaching, as well as some good movement around the joints of the hips and the spine. Move a little bit slower if you like. It's entirely up to you. I think that was, yeah, we can do one side at a time. If you've only got one option for support available to you. And then of course, we can do the other side afterwards. So a combination of different movements there, few different benefits. Good, I guess, for getting down towards your feet in standing. If you need to just make an adjustment to your shoe or your socks or your slippers or your flip-flops. There we go. There we have your noontime movement snack. Sheila's lost track of time, but you're here. Great to have you all as usual. Hi Bex, she's just giving us a wave there. Right, I'm going to have my lunch, I think. Early bird lunch. A bit of a Zoom class at 1, I think. I'm going to nurse a little bit more of my sunburn from Sunday. Ouch, it's well sore. Public service broadcast here. Don't trust hazy, sunny days and hot days. Don't trust them, they get you every time. But saying that, I think I look rather healthy, glow-wise now. Right, I'm off. I'll catch you later. See you tomorrow at noon from Northamptonshire. Ta-da!